There comes a point in life when you realize that playing small is costing you more than failure ever could. You start to notice how many opportunities you missed, not because you were incapable, but because you hesitated. You stayed silent when you had something to say. You stepped back when you should have stepped forward. You doubted yourself while others with less ability moved ahead. This is not a rare problem. It is the silent struggle of millions. The truth is simple and uncomfortable. Lack of confidence is not about lack of talent. It is about fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of being seen. And because of this fear, people build invisible cages around themselves. They limit their actions. They shrink their dreams. They settle for less than what they are capable of becoming. But here is the reality. Most people never fully accept. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you create. It is built in uncomfortable moments. It is forged when you take action despite fear. It grows every time you choose courage over comfort. Dangerous confidence is a different level altogether. It is not loud. It is not about showing off. It is not about thinking you are better than others. It is a quiet, uncheckable belief in yourself. It is walking into a room without needing approval. It is speaking your mind without fear of judgment. It is taking risks knowing you might fail, but trusting you will recover. A dangerously confident person does not depend on perfect conditions. They do not wait to feel ready. They act and become ready in the process. This kind of confidence changes everything. It changes how you see yourself. It changes how others see you. It changes the opportunities that come into your life, because the world responds differently to people who believe in themselves. This guide is not about motivation that fades after a few hours. It is about real practical transformation. You will understand how confidence is built from the ground up. You will see how ordinary people become extraordinary by changing their mindset and actions. You will learn how to break the patterns that keep you stuck. Most importantly, you will realize that confidence is already within your reach, not in the future, not after you become perfect, but right now. The journey to dangerous confidence begins with a simple decision to stop waiting, to stop hiding, and to finally take control of your life. This is where it starts. Chapter 1. The truth about confidence. Confidence is one of the most misunderstood qualities in the world. People look at someone who speaks boldly, takes risks, and handles pressure with ease, and they assume that person was born that way. Believe confidence is natural talent, something only a few people have. But the truth is very different. Confidence is built, not given. It is created through experience, struggle, repetition, and growth. One starts confident. Every confident person you see today was once unsure, nervous, and afraid. The only difference is they chose to act anyway. Young student is asked to speak in front of a class. His hands shake. His voice trembles. His mind goes blank. He feels embarrassed and judged. Most people stop here. They decide speaking is not for them. They avoid it. In the future, they label themselves as not confident. But another student in the same situation reacts differently. He feels the same fear. He experiences the same discomfort, but he does not run away. He tries again and again and again. Each time he speaks, his fear reduces slightly. His control improves. His confidence begins to grow. Months later, he becomes someone who can stand in front of a crowd and speak with ease. The difference between the two was not talent. It was repetition and willingness to face discomfort. This is the foundation of confidence. Confidence is the result of evidence. When you take action and survive, when you try and learn, when you fail and recover, your brain collects proof that you are capable. This proof becomes belief. That belief becomes confidence. Most people try to build confidence in their minds without taking action. They watch videos, read books, and imagine themselves becoming confident. But without action, there is no real change. You cannot think your way into confidence. You must act your way into it. Another truth that many people avoid is this: confidence does not come before fear disappears. Fear never fully disappears. Even highly successful people feel fear. Difference is they do not let fear control. Their actions. A business owner may feel fear before making a big decision. A speaker may feel nervous before stepping on stage. An athlete may feel pressure before a competition, but they act anyway. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to move forward despite fear. There is also a dangerous trap people fall into. They compare themselves to others. They see someone who is confident and assume they can never reach that level. They ignore the years of effort, failures, and practice behind that confidence. Every confident person has a history. You do not see late nights, embarrassing moments, repeated failures. Self-doubt. Confidence is built in those unseen moments. If you only focus on results, you will feel discouraged. But if you focus on the process, you will grow. Another important truth is that confidence is specific. A person can be confident in one area and insecure in another. Someone may speak confidently in meetings, but feel nervous in social situations. Someone may be strong in sports, but unsure in academics. Confidence is not a single trait. It is built in different areas through experience. This means you can build confidence step by step. You do not need to become perfect in everything. Start small. If you struggle with speaking, start by expressing your thoughts in small groups. If you struggle with decision-making, start by making simple choices quickly. If you struggle with social interaction, start by having short conversations. Each small step builds evidence. Each piece of evidence strengthens belief, and that belief grows into confidence. There is one final truth you must understand. Confidence requires discomfort. There is no way around it. If you stay in your comfort zone, you will stay the same. Growth happens when you push your limits. It feels uncomfortable. It feels uncertain. It feels risky. But that is where confidence is created. A person who avoids discomfort will never become confident. A person who embraces it will transform. At the beginning it will feel difficult. You will doubt yourself. You will make mistakes. You will feel exposed. But if you continue, something powerful happens. What once felt impossible becomes normal. What once scared you becomes easy. And slowly you become the person you once admired. This is the truth about confidence. It is not magic. It is not luck. It is a result of consistent action in the face of fear. Once you understand this, you stop waiting and you start building. This is where real change begins. Chapter 2. Destroying the fear of judgment. Fear of judgment is one of the strongest forces that holds people back. It controls decisions, limits actions, and keeps people trapped in safe, predictable lives. Most people do not realize how much of their behavior is influenced by this fear. They choose what to wear based on others' opinions. They stay silent even when they have something valuable to say. They avoid opportunities because they are afraid of being criticized. This fear becomes a prison, but the truth behind it is simple and powerful. People are not thinking about you as much as you think. Every person you see is busy with their own worries, their own insecurities, and their own problems. Attention you believe is focused on you is mostly in your own minda. Young man walks into a gathering feeling uncomfortable. He believes everyone is watching him, judging his clothes, his posture, his behavior. Because of this belief, he stays quiet, avoids interaction, and leaves early. Another person walks into the same room. He does not assume people are judging him. He starts conversations, asks questions, and shares his thoughts. The end of the event, he leaves with new connections and opportunities. Difference was not the environment. It was the perception. Fear of judgment creates a false reality. It makes small situations feel overwhelming. It turns normal interactions into stressful experiences. But when you challenge this fear, it begins to lose its power. One of the most important realizations you can have is this: people will judge you no matter what you do. If you speak, they will judge. If you stay silent, they will judge. If you succeed, they will judge. If you fail, they will judge. Judgment is unavoidable. So trying to avoid it is a losing game person. Who wants to start a new path in life often faces criticism. Friends may doubt them. Family may question their decisions. Society may label them as unrealistic. If that person stops because of judgment, they remain stuck. But if they continue despite judgment, they grow stronger over time. Something interesting happens. The same people who judged may begin to respect or even admire them, not because the criticism disappeared, but because the person stopped being controlled by it. Another truth about judgment is that it reflects more about the person judging than the person being judged. People project their own fears and insecurities onto others. Someone who is afraid to take risks may criticize those who try. Someone who lacks confidence may judge those who express themselves understanding. This changes everything. You stop taking every opinion personally. You begin to filter what matters and what does not. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every criticism deserves your energy. Dangerous confidence is built when you choose whose voice matters. You listen to constructive feedback that helps you grow. You ignore noise that only creates doubt. There is also a powerful shift that happens when you face judgment directly. The more you expose yourself to situations where you might be judged, the less power judgment has over you. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Speaking your opinion may feel risky. Trying something new may feel embarrassing. Standing out may feel unnatural. But with repetition, something changes. You realize that most negative outcomes you imagined never actually happen. And even when they do, you survive. A student raises his hand and gives a wrong answer. For a moment he feels embarrassed. But life moves on. People forget the world does not collapse. The next time he raises his hand, it feels easier. Each experience weakens the fear. Avoidance strengthens fear. Exposure reduces it. If you avoid situations where you might be judged, your fear grows. If you face them, your fear shrinks. Another example is social media. Many people hesitate to share their thoughts or ideas because they fear negative reactions. But those who consistently express themselves build confidence over time. They learn that not everyone will agree, and that is normal. Trying to please everyone is impossible, and attempting to do so destroys authenticity. Dangerous confidence requires acceptance of this reality. You cannot be liked by everyone, but you can be respected for being real. At some point, you must make a decision. Will you live according to others' expectations, or will you live according to your own values? One path leads to comfort but regret. The other leads to growth but discomfort. The choice is yours. When you stop fearing judgment, you unlock freedom. Freedom to speak, freedom to act, freedom to pursue what matters to you. This freedom is the foundation of true confidence, because a person who is no longer controlled by others' opinions becomes unstoppable. This is the moment where you begin to take control of your life, and this is where dangerous confidence starts to take shape. Chapter 3. Reprogramming your self-image. Everything you do begins with how you see yourself. Your actions, your decisions, your confidence all come from your self-image. If deep inside you believe you are weak, you will hesitate. If you believe you are not capable, you will avoid challenges. If you believe you are not worthy, you will settle for less. Your outer life is a reflection of your inner identity. This is why two people with similar skills can have completely different results. One moves forward with belief, the other holds back with doubt. The difference is not ability, it is self-image. A person who sees himself as someone who can handle pressure will step into difficult situations. Another person with the same ability, but a weaker self-image, will avoid the same situation. Your mind always tries to stay consistent with the identity you hold. If you see yourself as shy, you will act shy. If you see yourself as confident, you will begin to act confident even if it feels unnatural. At first, a powerful example of this can be seen in a student preparing for an exam. One student keeps telling himself he is bad at studying. He believes he cannot focus. He believes he is not intelligent enough. Because of this belief, he studies less. He avoids difficult topics. He gives up quickly. His results confirm his belief another student may not be naturally better. But he tells himself he is improving. He sees himself as someone who can learn. Because of this belief, he studies consistently. He pushes through confusion. He keeps trying. His results improve over time. Difference was not intelligence. It was identity. Reprogramming your self-image starts with awareness. You must notice the story you're telling yourself. Most of this happens automatically. You say things like, I am not good at this. I always mess up. I cannot do this. These statements may feel true, but they are not facts. They are repeated thoughts that have become beliefs. To change your identity, you must change your internal language. Start replacing limiting statements with empowering ones. Instead of saying, I am not confident, say, I am learning to be confident. Instead of saying, I always fail, say, I improve with every attempt. At first, this may feel fake, but understand this. Current identity was also created through repetition. You are not born thinking you are weak or incapable. You learned it through experiences and repeated thoughts, which means it can be changed the same way. Another powerful method is acting as the person you want to become, not pretending in a fake way, but practicing new behavior intentionally. Ask yourself, how would a confident person act in this situation? Would they speak? Would they take initiative? Would they stand firm, then act accordingly even? If it feels uncomfortable, a person who wants to become confident in social situations can start small. Make eye contact. Smile. Start short conversations. At first it feels unnatural, but over time these actions become normal, and slowly identity begins to shift. Your brain starts to collect new evidence. You spoke and nothing bad happened. You expressed yourself and survived. You handled situations you once avoided. This evidence weakens the old identity and strengthens the new one. Another example can be seen in fitness. A person who sees himself as lazy struggles to stay consistent. He skips workouts and justifies it. Another person sees himself as disciplined. He may not always feel motivated, but he shows up anyway because it matches his identity. This shows an important truth. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to your identity. If your identity does not match your goals, you will struggle. But when your identity aligns, your actions become natural. Reprogramming your self-image also requires patience. You cannot change years of conditioning overnight. There will be moments where old thoughts return. There will be situations where you feel like your old self. This is normal. Change happens gradually. What matters is consistency. Each time you choose a new thought, each time you take a new action, you strengthen your new identity. Over time, something powerful happens. You no longer have to force confidence. It becomes part of who you are. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to rely on your ability to handle situations, and this trust creates real confidence, not temporary, not fragile, but stable and strong. At this stage, your actions change naturally. You take more risks. You speak more freely. You pursue bigger opportunities because you no longer see yourself as someone who holds back. You see yourself as someone who moves forward. This is the transformation from doubt to belief, from hesitation to action, from weakness to strength. It all begins with how you see yourself. Change your self-image, and you change your life. This is where dangerous confidence starts becoming real. Chapter 4, Taking Action. Before you feel ready. One of the biggest lies people believe is that they need to feel ready before they act. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait to feel confident. They wait until everything is clear and certain. That moment never comes. Life does not reward waiting. It rewards action. Most opportunities are missed, not because people are incapable, but because they hesitate, they overthink, they analyze, they delay, and while they are waiting, someone else takes the step they were afraid to take. A person wants to start a business. He spends months learning, planning, and thinking. He keeps telling himself he will start when he knows enough. Another person starts with less knowledge. makes mistakes, learns from them, improves. After a year, the second person has experienced growth and confidence. The first person is still preparing. The difference is simple action versus hesitation. Confidence does not come before action. It comes because of action. When you take a step into the unknown, your mind reacts with fear. This is natural. Your brain is designed to protect you from uncertainty. It wants safety and predictability, but growth does not exist in safety. Growth exists in uncertainty. A student who waits to feel fully prepared before speaking in front of others will keep delaying, but the student who speaks despite fear begins to grow. The first attempt may be uncomfortable, the second attempt slightly better, the third attempt more controlled. Each action reduces fear. Each step builds confidence. If you wait until fear disappears, you will wait forever, because fear does not disappear before action. It fades after repeated exposure. Another example can be seen in opportunities. A job opening appears. One person thinks he is not ready. He doubts his skills. He decides not to apply. Another person also feels unsure, but applies anyway. Even if he gets rejected, he gains experience. He understands the process. He improves. Eventually, he succeeds. The one who never applied remains in the same position. This is how life works. Those who move despite doubt progress. Those who wait remain stuck. Taking action before you feel ready requires a shift in mindset. You must accept that you will not feel fully prepared. You must accept that mistakes are part of the process. And you must accept that discomfort is necessary. Instead of asking "Am I ready?" ask "Am I willing to try? Willing to fail, willing to learn this?" Shift changes everything, because willingness leads to action, and action leads to growth. Another important concept is starting small. Taking action does not always mean making a huge leap. It can be a small step forward. If you are afraid of speaking, start by sharing one idea. If you are afraid of social interaction, start by greeting someone. If you are afraid of starting something new, begin with a simple task. Small actions build momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence leads to bigger actions over time. These small steps create massive change. There is also a hidden benefit of taking action early. You learn faster. You act, you receive feedback, you see what works and what does not. This learning cannot be gained through thinking alone. A person who starts early gains experience. A person who waits loses time. Time is one of the most valuable resources. Every moment spent waiting is a moment lost. Another reality is that perfection is an illusion. If you try to make everything perfect before starting, you will never begin. Perfection is often just fear in disguise. It is an excuse to delay action. A writer who waits to create perfect content never writes. A creator who waits for perfect conditions never creates. But those who start imperfectly improve over time. Their early work may not be great, but it leads to better work and eventually excellence. Action creates progress. Perfection delays it. There is also a powerful emotional shift that happens when you take action. You move from thinking to doing. This reduces anxiety, because most anxiety comes from uncertainty and inaction. When you act, you take control. Even if the result is not perfect, you feel stronger, because you face the situation instead of avoiding it. This builds inner strength. A person who repeatedly takes action becomes someone who trusts himself. He knows he can handle situations. He knows he can adapt. This trust is the foundation of real confidence. At some point, you must decide, will you continue waiting or will you start moving? Because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is filled with action. Not intention, not planning, not wishing. Only action. Dangerous confidence is built by those who move forward even when they feel uncertain. They do not wait for courage. They create it. They do not wait for clarity. They discover it through action. And as they continue, what once felt impossible becomes normal. What once felt scary becomes routine. This is the power of taking action before you feel ready. Transforms hesitation into confidence. and turns potential into reality. Chapter 5: Building. Mental toughness. Confidence that depends on comfort is weak. It disappears the moment life becomes difficult. Real confidence is built on mental toughness. Mental toughness is the ability to stay steady when things go wrong. It is the ability to continue when you feel tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. It is the strength to face pressure without breaking. Life will not always be easy. You will face rejection. You will experience failure. You will go through moments where nothing seems to work. In those moments, your true level of confidence is revealed. A person who only feels confident when everything is going well will collapse under pressure, but a person who has built mental toughness will remain standing. A young athlete trains for months, preparing for a competition. He believes he is ready. On the day of the event, he loses. In that moment, he has two choices. He can see the loss as proof that he is not good enough, or he can see it as part of the process. If he quits, his confidence breaks. If he continues, his confidence grows stronger, because now he understands something important. Failure did not destroy him. This realization changes everything. Mental toughness is built when you face difficult situations and choose not to give up. It is not built in easy moments. It is built in struggle. A business owner starts a project with high expectations. At first things go well, then problems appear. Sales drop. Plans fail. He feels stress and doubt. If he gives up, he confirms his fear. If he continues, he learns, adapts, and improves over time. He becomes stronger, not because he avoided problems, but because he handled them. This is how mental toughness develops. Through repeated exposure to difficulty. There is also a common misunderstanding about strong people. Many assume mentally tough individuals do not feel pain or doubt. That is not true. They feel everything. They feel fear. They feel pressure. They feel uncertainty. Difference is they do not let those feelings control their actions. They act based on purpose, not emotion. A student preparing for exams may feel tired and unmotivated. A weak mindset says stop, rest, avoid effort. A strong mindset says continue despite discomfort, not in an extreme or unhealthy way, but with discipline and focus. This discipline builds resilience. Another key part of mental toughness is controlling your reaction. You cannot control everything that happens, but you can control how you respond. Two people can face the same situation and react differently. One sees problems as obstacles. The other sees them as opportunities to grow. A person receives criticism. He can take it personally and feel attacked, or he can analyze it and use it to improve. Your reaction determines your growth. Mental toughness also requires patience. Results do not always come quickly. There will be times when your efforts do not show immediate success. This can be frustrating. Many people quit during this phase because they expect fast results. But those who stay consistent develop strength. A person working on a goal may not see progress for weeks or months. If he continues, something shifts. His skills improve, his understanding deepens, his confidence grows, because he proved to himself that he can stay committed. Another example can be seen in physical training. At the beginning, lifting weights feels difficult. Your body resists. Your muscles feel weak. But with consistent effort, your strength increases. The same applies to the mind. Each challenge you face is like a mental workout. It stretches your limits over time. What once felt heavy becomes manageable and eventually easy. There is also an important connection between mental toughness and self-trust. Every time you push through difficulty, you build trust in yourself. You begin to believe that you can handle challenges. This belief is powerful because it removes fear of the unknown. You no longer avoid difficult situations. You step into them with confidence because you know you will find a way. Mental toughness also protects you from external pressure. People may doubt you. Situations may become stressful. Circumstances may change. But if your mind is strong, you remain stable. You do not break under pressure. Adapt. This stability creates a calm type of confidence. Not loud, not aggressive, but steady and reliable. A person with mental toughness does not panic easily. thinks clearly even in difficult situations. He makes decisions with control. This level of confidence is rare, and it is built over time through experience. There is no shortcut. You cannot avoid struggle and still become strong. You cannot skip difficult moments and expect deep confidence. You must go through the process. You must face challenges. You must experience setbacks. You must keep going. At times, it will feel exhausting. At times, you will question yourself. But if you continue, you will notice a change. Things that once bothered you will no longer affect you the same way. Situations that once scared you will feel manageable. You become stronger without even realizing it. This is the power of mental toughness. It transforms fragile confidence into unshakable belief. It prepares you for real life, not just ideal situations, because true confidence is not about feeling good all the time. It is about knowing you can handle difficult times. When you build this level of strength, you stop fearing challenges. You start embracing them, because you understand that every challenge is making you stronger. This is where confidence becomes dangerous, not because it is reckless, but because it is resilient. It cannot be easily broken. And once you reach this level, you carry that strength into every situation in life. This is the foundation of lasting confidence. Chapter 6: Body language and presence. Confidence is not only something you feel inside, it is something people can see before you even speak. Your body language sends signals constantly. It tells others whether you are unsure or certain. It also sends signals to your own mind. The way you carry yourself can either strengthen your confidence or weaken it. A person walks into a room with shoulders down, avoiding eye contact, moving quickly as if trying to disappear. Without saying a word, he communicates hesitation. Another person walks into the same room, standing straight, moving calmly, making eye contact. Even in silence, he communicates control. Difference is not always internal confidence. Often it is physical behavior. Your body can lead your mind. When you adjust your posture, your brain begins to respond differently. When you move with control, your thoughts begin to slow down. This is why body language is a powerful tool. You do not always need to feel confident first. You can start by acting confident physically. A simple example is posture. Standing straight with your shoulders back changes how you feel. It opens your chest, improves breathing, and creates a sense of strength. Slouching does the opposite. It makes you feel smaller, weaker, and less in control. Another key element is eye contact. Avoiding eye contact often signals insecurity. Maintaining it shows presence and confidence. This does not mean staring aggressively. It means looking at people naturally when speaking and listening. At first, this may feel uncomfortable, but with practice, it becomes normal. A person who learns to maintain eye contact begins to feel more grounded in conversations. Movement also matters. Confident people do not rush unnecessarily. They move with intention. Walking too fast can signal anxiety. Walking with a steady pace shows control. Even small actions like how you sit, how you use your hands, and how you position your body affect how you are perceived. A person who fidgets constantly appears nervous. A person who remains composed appears confident. Your voice is also part of your presence. Speaking too quickly can make you seem unsure. Speaking too softly can make you seem hesitant. A calm, steady voice creates authority. This does not mean forcing a deep or unnatural tone. It means speaking clearly and at a controlled pace. Pauses are powerful. Instead of filling silence with unnecessary words, use pauses to think and express yourself more clearly. This gives your words weight. There is also a strong connection between body language and self-perception. When you act confident physically, your brain begins to believe it. A person who practices strong posture, eye contact, and controlled movement daily will start to feel different internally. This is not fake confidence. It is a method of training your mind through your body. Actors use this technique when preparing for roles. They change how they walk, speak, and move. And over time, they begin to feel like the character they are playing. You can apply the same principle in real life. act like the person you want to become, and gradually you become that person. Another example can be seen in professional environments too. Employees may have the same knowledge and skill. One speaks with clarity, maintains eye contact, and presents ideas with confidence. The other speaks with hesitation, avoids eye contact, and appears unsure. The first person is more likely to be trusted and respected, not because he knows more, but because he presents himself with confidence. Presence influences perception, and perception influences opportunity. This is why body language is not a small detail. It is a major factor in how you are treated and how you see yourself. There is also an emotional aspect to presence. When you are fully present in a moment, you are not overthinking. You are not worrying about what others think. You are focused on what is happening right now. This reduces anxiety. A person who is lost in thoughts of judgment often appears distracted and tense. A person who is present appears calm and engaged. Presence can be trained by focusing on your surroundings, by listening carefully, by being aware of your actions. More present you become, the more natural your confidence feels. It is not forced. It is not artificial. It becomes part of how you exist. There will be moments where you feel nervous. This is normal. Even confident people experience it. The difference is they do not let it control their body. They maintain posture. They maintain eye contact. They control their breathing. And as they do this, their nervousness begins to fade, because the body and mind are connected. If your body stays calm, your mind follows. If your body shows fear, your mind increases it. Learning to control your physical presence gives you an advantage. It allows you to step into situations with strength even before you feel it internally. Over time, this practice builds real confidence, not just in how others see you, but in how you experience yourself. You begin to feel more in control, more stable, more capable, and this creates a strong foundation, because confidence is not only about what you think, it is about how you show up in the world. When your body and mind align, your presence becomes powerful, and people can feel it without you saying a word. This is where confidence becomes visible, and this is where it starts influencing every area of your life. Chapter 7. Embracing rejection. Rejection is one of the most feared experiences in life. It makes people feel unwanted, inadequate, and exposed. Because of this fear, many people avoid situations where rejection is possible. They do not apply, they do not ask, they do not try. And in avoiding rejection, they also avoid growth. But here is the truth most people do not accept. Rejection is not a sign that you are not good enough. It is a normal part of progress. Every person who has achieved something meaningful has faced rejection. The difference is they did not stop. A young man applies for multiple jobs. He gets rejected again and again. After a few attempts, he starts to doubt himself. He feels like giving up. This is where most people quit. They take rejection personally. They see it as a final judgment of their ability. But another person in the same situation chooses a different approach. He looks at each rejection as feedback. He improves his resume. He improves his communication. He applies again. Over time, his chances increase. Eventually, he gets accepted. The difference was not luck. It was persistence. Rejection tests your mindset. It forces you to decide whether you will stop or continue. If you stop, your confidence decreases. If you continue, your confidence grows stronger, because each time you face rejection and move forward, you prove to yourself that you can handle it. This removes the fear. Another example can be seen in social situations. A person wants to start conversations, meet new people, and build connections. But fear of rejection stops him. He thinks, what if they ignore me? What if they do not like me? Because of these thoughts, he avoids interaction. As a result, nothing changes. Another person decides to face this fear. He starts small conversations. Some people respond positively. Some do not. At first, rejection feels uncomfortable. But after repeated attempts, something changes. He realizes that Rejection is not as painful as he imagined. He also realizes that not every interaction will go well, and that is normal. Over time, his confidence increases because he is no longer afraid of being rejected. This is the key. When you remove the fear of rejection, you unlock freedom. Freedom to try, freedom to express, freedom to pursue opportunities. Rejection also teaches an important lesson. Not everything is meant for you. Sometimes a rejection is not about your worth. It is about fit timing or circumstance. A business idea may not succeed in one moment, but may work in another. A job may not be right for you, even if you wanted it. A connection may not work because it is not aligned. Understanding this prevents you from taking rejection too personally. It allows you to move forward without losing confidence. Another important point is that rejection builds resilience. Each rejection makes you stronger if you choose to learn from it. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but with time, your emotional response becomes controlled. You stop reacting with frustration or self-doubt. You start responding with analysis and improvement. This shift is powerful. It transforms rejection from a negative experience into a tool for growth. Is also a hidden advantage in facing rejection. You develop courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act despite fear every time. You take a risk where rejection is possible. You strengthen your courage. A person who avoids risk remains stuck in comfort. A person who faces risk expands his limits over time. This creates a strong sense of confidence because you know you are willing to take chances, and willingness is more important than certainty. Another example can be seen in creative fields. A writer submits his work and gets rejected. An artist shares his work and receives criticism. If they stop, they never improve. If they continue, they refine their skills. Eventually, their work reaches a level where it is recognized, but that level is only reached through repeated rejection and improvement. This shows an important truth. Rejection is part of the process, not the end of it. There is also a mindset shift that changes how you experience rejection. Instead of asking, "Why was I rejected?" ask, "What can I learn?" Instead of seeing it as failure, see it as feedback. This shift removes emotional weight and adds purpose. You begin to use every experience to grow. Another powerful idea is increasing your exposure to rejection. The more you experience it, the less it affects you. If you rarely face rejection, it feels intense when it happens. If you face it often, it becomes normal. A person who applies to one opportunity and gets rejected may feel discouraged. A person who applies to many opportunities sees rejection as part of the process. This reduces fear because rejection is no longer rare or overwhelming. It becomes expected and manageable. At this stage, something changes. You stop fearing rejection. You start focusing on effort and improvement. This is where confidence becomes stable because it is no longer dependent on constant success. It is built on your ability to continue regardless of outcome. Dangerous confidence comes from this mindset. You are not afraid to try. You are not afraid to fail. You are not afraid to be rejected because you know none of these can stop you. You understand progress requires risk, and you are willing to take that risk. This makes you different from most people because most people avoid rejection, and in doing so, they limit their lives. But when you embrace rejection, you expand your possibilities. You open doors that others are too afraid to approach, and you build a level of confidence that cannot be easily shaken because it is not based on always winning. It is based on always continuing. This is the power of embracing rejection. It turns fear into strength and transforms hesitation into action. This is where confidence becomes fearless. And this is where your growth accelerates beyond limits. Chapter 8. Creating daily disciplined confidence is not built in one big moment. It is built in small actions repeated every day. Many people look for sudden change. They want instant confidence. They want quick transformation. But real confidence does not work like that. It grows slowly through consistency daily. Discipline is the foundation of that growth. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you do not feel like doing it. It means showing up when motivation is low. It means continuing when things feel boring or difficult. A person who depends only on motivation will be inconsistent. Some days they will feel strong and take action. Other days they will feel tired and do nothing. This creates unstable confidence because their progress is unpredictable. But a disciplined person acts regardless of mood. He does not wait to feel ready. He follows a routine. This creates steady progress, and steady progress builds strong belief. A simple example can be seen in waking up early. One person decides to wake up early, but only does it when he feels motivated, succeeds for a few days, then returns to old habits. Another person sets a time and follows it daily even when it feels uncomfortable, even when he feels tired. Over time it becomes natural. This small habit builds self-trust because he knows he can rely on himself. Self-trust is one of the strongest forms of confidence. You cannot trust yourself. Your confidence will always be weak. Daily discipline creates that trust. Another example is physical fitness. A person who works out occasionally will see slow or no progress, may feel good on the days he exercises, but overall, his confidence remains unstable. Another person follows a consistent routine even when progress is slow. He continues. Over time, his body changes, his strength increases, his confidence grows not because of one workout, but because of consistent effort. This principle applies to every area of life: studying, working, improving skills, building relationships. Consistency is what creates results, and results create confidence. There is also an important mental shift involved in discipline. You stop negotiating with yourself. Instead of asking, should I do this today, you decide, this is what I do. A student who studies daily does not ask himself if he feels like studying. He follows his routine. A person who trains regularly does not wait for motivation. He shows up. This removes hesitation and reduces mental conflict because the decision is already made. Another powerful aspect of discipline is that it builds resilience. There will be days when things do not go as planned. You may feel tired. You may feel distracted. You may feel frustrated, but discipline keeps you moving. It teaches you to continue. Despite these feelings, over time, this creates mental strength. You become someone who does not quit easily. This strengthens your confidence because you know you can stay consistent even in difficult moments. There is also a connection between discipline and identity. Each disciplined action reinforces the belief that you are reliable if you complete your tasks daily, if you follow your commitments. If you stay consistent, you begin to see yourself as a disciplined person, and this identity changes your behavior naturally. A person who sees himself as disciplined does not easily break his habits because it does not match who he believes he is. This is how discipline transforms into confidence. Another example can be seen in skill development. A person wants to improve communication. If he practices occasionally, he will struggle to see progress. But if he practices daily, speaking, listening, expressing, he improves steadily. As his skill improves, his confidence increases because he has evidence of growth. This is an important point. Confidence is built on proof. Discipline creates that proof. Each day you show up, each day you complete a task, each day you improve. You collect evidence that you are capable. This evidence strengthens your belief in yourself. There is also a long-term benefit of discipline. It creates stability. Your confidence is no longer dependent on external factors, does not depend on praise or success. It comes from within because you know you are consistent. You know you are putting in effort. This creates a quiet, strong confidence, not loud, not temporary, but steady and reliable. Of course, discipline is not always easy. There will be resistance. Your mind will look for excuses. It will suggest comfort over effort. This is normal. The key is to act despite that resistance. Each time you do this, you strengthen your discipline and weaken the habit of avoidance. Over time, it becomes easier. Once required effort becomes routine, and what becomes routine no longer feels difficult. This is how discipline shapes your life. It turns small actions into powerful results, turns effort into identity, and it turns consistency into confidence. This stage, you no longer depend on motivation, you rely on structure and commitment, and this creates freedom because you are no longer controlled by your emotions. You control your actions. This is a powerful form of confidence because it is built on stability. Dangerous confidence is not about occasional success. It is about consistent behavior. It is about knowing that no matter how you feel, you will continue moving forward. Daily discipline makes this possible. It builds a strong foundation. And once that foundation is built, your confidence becomes unshakable because it is backed by action, repeated every single day. Chapter 9. Speaking with authority. Confidence is not only felt internally, it is communicated externally. And one of the most powerful ways to communicate confidence is through the way you speak. People underestimate the impact of their voice. The tone, the pace, the clarity, all of these send signals to others before the content of your words is even considered. A person who speaks quickly, nervously, and hesitantly may appear unsure, even if they know exactly what they are talking about. Another person who speaks calmly with steady pacing and clear articulation commands attention and respect, even if their words are simple. Speaking with authority is about presence in your voice. It is about projecting confidence without arrogance. One key factor is pace. Speaking too quickly signals nervousness. Speaking too slowly without energy can be boring. A balanced pace shows control. It allows listeners to absorb your words and demonstrates that you are composed. Pausing is another powerful tool. Many people feel the need to fill every silence with words. They use filler sounds or ramble. This reduces credibility and confidence. Pausing gives your words weight. It creates emphasis. It communicates that you are thoughtful and in control. Another element is volume. A person who speaks too softly may seem hesitant. A person who speaks too loudly may appear aggressive. Calm, steady volume conveys confidence. It allows people to focus on your message rather than guessing your intentions. Clarity is also essential. Mumbling or using unclear words undermines authority. Speaking clearly, even when nervous, shows that you are composed and reliable. Example can be seen in meetings. Two employees are presenting ideas to their team. The first speaks quickly, hesitates between points, avoids eye contact. Others struggle to follow and doubt their ideas. The second speaks with a controlled pace, makes eye contact, pauses to emphasize key points. Even if the content is similar, the second is taken more seriously. And trusted confidence is contagious through speech. When you speak with authority, people listen. They respect you. They are more likely to follow your lead. Another important point is practicing despite fear. At first, speaking confidently may feel unnatural. Your voice may shake. You may feel exposed. This is normal. Every confident speaker has experienced this. The difference is they practice despite discomfort. A person may start by speaking in front of a mirror, recording themselves, and speaking in small groups. Each time they gain experience, each time they notice improvement, confidence grows. Another factor is body alignment with speech posture and eye contact amplify authority. Standing straight, using natural gestures, maintaining eye contact while speaking. These elements make your words feel stronger. There is also a mindset aspect. Authority in speech comes from belief in what you are saying. If you are uncertain about your message, it will show even with perfect delivery. Belief and preparation matter. Knowing your content, trusting your knowledge, aligning your thoughts with your words. This creates authenticity, and authenticity reinforces confidence. A common mistake is trying to imitate others. Some people mimic confident speakers. They copy tone or gestures, but without genuine belief, it feels fake. It does not last. True authority comes from alignment of mind, body, and words. Another is public speaking. A nervous speaker may forget points, but if they focus on communicating clearly, using pauses and controlled pacing, The audience responds positively. Even mistakes can be managed with confidence correcting. Yourself calmly continuing without panic maintains authority. Confidence is also built over repeated exposure. The more you speak publicly, the more your fear reduces, the more natural authority becomes. Over time, your voice becomes a tool of influence. People listen because you communicate clearly. They trust you because you show control, and they respect you because you convey presence. This is dangerous confidence in action. It is not about dominating others. It is about being fully present, speaking with clarity and purpose, and allowing your knowledge and presence to naturally command respect. When you combine preparation, belief, and body alignment with speech, you create authority that others feel without questioning, and this authority fuels internal confidence because each successful interaction reinforces your self-trust. Speaking with authority is a skill. It can be developed, it can be strengthened, and once mastered, it becomes a core part of dangerous confidence. Chapter 10. Living without approval. One of the final stages of dangerous confidence is learning to live without approval. Most people's actions are influenced by what others think. They dress a certain way. They choose certain careers. They even shape their opinions based on what they believe will be accepted. This constant search for validation creates a fragile type of confidence. It disappears when approval is withheld. It weakens when criticism arrives. True confidence does not depend on external validation. It is built from self-trust and internal alignment. Living without approval does not mean rejecting everyone's opinion. It means deciding whose opinion matters and whose does not. A young professional may face pressure from family to pursue a certain career. She may know deep down that her path lies elsewhere. If she constantly seeks approval, she will compromise her values. If she decides to follow her own path, she accepts temporary discomfort. She faces criticism. She takes risks. Over time, her success and fulfillment validate her choices. But her confidence never relied solely on external approval. This is the freedom that dangerous confidence provides. It allows you to act based on your principles, not fear, not judgment. Another example can be seen in social interactions. A person who constantly seeks approval will avoid speaking up in groups. He fears disagreement. He fears judgment. A person who lives without approval expresses ideas freely, speaks when necessary. He listens but does not change himself to please others. This does not make him arrogant. It makes him authentic. Authenticity is a key element of dangerous confidence. People are naturally drawn to those who are comfortable with themselves, those who do not bend for every opinion, those who act with integrity regardless of others' reactions. Living without approval also means accepting that not everyone will like you. You cannot control how people perceive you. Some will admire, some will criticize, some will misunderstand. Trying to be universally liked is impossible, and attempting it wastes energy and diminishes confidence. A person who accepts this reality focuses on growth and values. He takes action without waiting for permission or praise. This freedom allows for bold decisions. Bold decisions create results. Results create evidence of competence. Evidence strengthens belief. Belief fuels confidence. Another important truth is that self-approval grows with experience. Every time you make a difficult choice and survive consequences, every time you act despite criticism, every time you remain true to yourself, you reinforce trust in your judgment and ability. This is why self-approval is stronger than external approval. It is stable, reliable, resilient. A practical example can be seen in entrepreneurship. A person starts a business that others criticize. Family doubts him. Friends question his choices. Competitors may mock his approach. If he constantly seeks their approval, he will hesitate. He will make compromises. He may quit. But if he acts based on his vision, if he learns from mistakes but does not depend on validation, he continues. He grows. He succeeds over time. He no longer fears judgment. He no longer relies on praise. His confidence is unshakable. Living without approval also changes your emotional state. You become calmer, less reactive, more focused on outcomes than reactions. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop letting criticism dictate your behavior. You act with purpose and clarity. This does not make you isolated. It makes you self-reliant. Self-reliance is a cornerstone of dangerous confidence. It allows you to take risks. It allows you to pursue opportunities others avoid. It allows you to lead rather than follow when you combine self-trust with experience, skill, and resilience. You become unstoppable because no external opinion can shake you. No temporary setback can stop you. No fear of judgment can hold you back. This is the essence of living without approval. It is freedom. It is authenticity. It is courage. And it is the culmination of all the work you have done in the previous chapters. When you live without approval, you step fully into dangerous confidence. You act boldly. You speak freely. You pursue your goals. You accept challenges, and you do all of this not for recognition, not for praise, not for validation, but because you trust yourself and your abilities. This is true freedom. This is real confidence, and this is the state where you become truly dangerous in your confidence, because you are no longer controlled by fear or opinion. You are in control of yourself, and that makes all the difference. Chapter 11, Mastering Your Inner Dialogue. Everything you do is influenced by a voice inside your mind. This voice speaks constantly. It comments on your actions. It judges your decisions. It shapes how you see yourself. Most people, this inner dialogue is negative. Without them even realizing it, it says you are not ready. You will fail. People will judge you. You are not good enough. When you listen to this voice repeatedly, it becomes your reality. You start believing it. And once you believe it, your actions follow. A person who constantly tells himself he is not confident will hesitate. He will avoid challenges. He will stay in his comfort zone, not because he lacks ability, but because his inner voice is holding him back. Another person may have the same level of skill, but his inner dialogue is different. He tells himself, I will try, I can improve, I will learn from this because of this. He takes action. He faces challenges. He grows. The difference is not external. It is internal. Your inner dialogue is one of the most powerful forces in building confidence. You do not control it. It will control you. First step is awareness. You must notice how you speak to yourself. Pay attention to your thoughts in difficult situations. When you are about to take a risk, when you feel nervous, when you make a mistake, what do you tell yourself? Do you criticize? Do you doubt? Do you discourage? Or do you support? Do you guide? Do you encourage? Most people are harsher on themselves than anyone else. They say things to themselves they would never say to another person. This constant negativity weakens confidence over time. To build dangerous confidence, you must change this pattern. You must become intentional with your inner dialogue. This does not mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means speaking to yourself in a way that helps you move forward. Instead of saying, I cannot do this, say, I will find a way to do this. Instead of saying, I always fail, say, I am learning from each attempt. Instead of saying, I am not confident, say, I'm building confidence through action. These small changes may seem simple, but they have a powerful effect over time. Your brain responds to repetition. The more you repeat a thought, the more it becomes a belief, and beliefs shape behavior. Another important technique is separating yourself from your thoughts. Just because you think something does not mean it is true. A thought like I will fail is not a fact. It is a possibility. You can question it. You can replace I. A confident person does not believe every negative thought. He challenges them. He asks, is this true? Is this helpful? If the answer is no, he chooses a better thought. This creates mental control, and mental control creates confidence. Another example can be seen in performance situations. A student preparing for a presentation may feel nervous if his inner dialogue says you are going To mess this up, you will forget everything. His anxiety increases. His performance suffers. But if he says, I am prepared, I will do my best, I can handle this, his mind becomes calmer. His focus improves. The situation is the same, but the internal response changes everything. Inner dialogue also affects how you handle failure. After a setback, one person may say, I am not good enough. This is not for me. Another may say, this did not work. I will adjust and try again. The second mindset leads to growth. First leads to stagnation. This is why controlling your inner voice is essential. It determines whether you move forward or stay stuck. There is also a long-term effect. Positive and strong inner dialogue builds resilience. You become less affected by external criticism because your internal voice is stronger. You do not rely on others to motivate you. You motivate yourself. This creates independence, and independence strengthens confidence over time. Something changes. The supportive voice becomes natural. You no longer have to force it. It becomes your default way of thinking. At this stage, your confidence becomes stable because it is supported from within, not dependent on external factors. This is dangerous confidence. Person who controls his inner dialogue controls his actions, and a person who controls his actions shapes his life. You cannot always control situations, but you can control how you speak to yourself about them, and that changes everything. This is where true power begins, not outside, but inside your own mind. Master your inner dialogue. You take control of your confidence at the deepest level. Chapter 12. Becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. Most people spend their lives trying to stay comfortable. They avoid difficult conversations. They avoid risks. They avoid situations that make them feel uncertain or exposed. Comfort feels safe. It feels easy. It feels familiar. But comfort has a hidden cost. It keeps you the same. Everything you want in life exists outside your comfort zone. Growth, confidence, opportunities all require you to step into discomfort. A person who avoids discomfort avoids growth. A person who embraces discomfort transforms. First, discomfort feels like something is wrong. Your heart beats faster. Your mind becomes alert. You feel tension and uncertainty. Most people interpret this as a signal to stop, but in reality, it is a signal that you are growing. A student speaking in front of others feels uncomfortable. A person starting something new feels uncertain. Beginner learning a skill feels awkward. These feelings are not signs of failure. They are signs of progress. The problem is not discomfort. The problem is how you respond to it. If you run away from it, you stay the same. If you face it, you evolve. A simple example can be seen in social situations. A person who feels uncomfortable talking to strangers avoids interaction. He stays quiet. He avoids eye contact. He leaves quickly. This reinforces his fear. Another person feels the same discomfort, but chooses to act. He starts small conversations. He feels awkward. He makes mistakes, but he continues. Over time. The discomfort reduces, his confidence increases. The difference was not the absence of discomfort. It was the response to it. Another example can be seen in learning. When you try something new, you feel confused. You struggle. You make errors. This phase is uncomfortable. Many people quit here. They say it is too hard. They believe they are not capable. But those who continue push through this phase. Eventually, understanding improves. Skills develop. Confidence grows. Discomfort is part of the learning process. Avoiding it prevents growth. There is also a psychological shift that happens when you accept discomfort. You stop seeing it as something negative. You start seeing it as necessary. This changes your behavior. Instead of asking, how can I avoid discomfort? You ask, what discomfort should I face today? This mindset is powerful because it turns fear into opportunity. A person who intentionally faces discomfort builds resilience. He becomes less sensitive to pressure. He becomes more adaptable. Situations that once felt overwhelming become manageable. Another important point is that discomfort decreases with exposure. The first time you do something, it feels difficult. The second time, it feels slightly easier. The third time, more natural. With repetition, what once felt uncomfortable becomes normal. A person who starts exercising feels pain and resistance, but after consistent effort, it becomes part of routine. A person who speaks in public feels nervous at first, but after repeated practice, it becomes easier. This shows that discomfort is temporary. It only feels strong at the beginning. If you continue, it fades. Avoidance keeps it alive. Action reduces it. There is also a connection between discomfort and confidence. Each time you face discomfort and succeed, even in a small way, you build evidence. You prove to yourself that you can handle difficult situations. This strengthens your belief, and belief creates confidence. A person who repeatedly avoids discomfort collects no evidence. He remains unsure of his ability, but a person who faces challenges builds proof, and this proof becomes unshakable confidence. Another example can be seen in decision-making. Making difficult decisions often feels uncomfortable. There is uncertainty. There is risk. But avoiding decisions creates more problems. A confident person accepts this discomfort. He makes decisions. He learns from outcomes. He improves. Over time, decision-making becomes easier because he trusts himself. This trust is built through experience with discomfort. There is also an important emotional benefit. When you become comfortable with discomfort, you reduce fear because you no longer see difficult situations as threats. You see them as part of life. This creates calmness. Even in challenging situations, you do not panic. You do not avoid. You engage. This is a powerful form of confidence because it allows you to handle situations that others avoid. And this creates opportunities that exist only for those willing to step into discomfort. At some point, you must accept a simple truth. A comfortable life does not lead to a confident life. A challenging life does. This does not mean creating unnecessary difficulty. It means not running away from what is necessary for growth. It means choosing progress over ease. There will always be a choice: comfort or growth, safety or opportunity, avoidance or action. Each choice shapes your future. If you consistently choose comfort, your world becomes smaller. If you consistently choose discomfort, your world expands, and with that expansion comes confidence. Real confidence, the kind that is built on experience, not imagination. Dangerous confidence is created in these moments. When you step forward despite discomfort, when you act despite fear, when you continue despite uncertainty. This is where transformation happens. You become stronger, more capable, more resilient, and over time, what once felt uncomfortable becomes your new normal. This is the power of embracing discomfort. It turns fear into growth and transforms hesitation into unstoppable confidence. Conclusion: becoming dangerously confident is not about arrogance. It is not about trying to impress others or pretending to be fearless. It is about building a deep, unshakable belief in yourself. A belief that allows you to face fear, take risks, and act with clarity and purpose. This journey, you have learned that confidence is not given, it is earned. It is built through action, through struggle, through discipline and persistence. You have learned that fear will always exist, that judgment is unavoidable, that rejection is part of the process. But dangerous confidence is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite it. You have seen that self-image determines your actions, that daily discipline creates trust in yourself. That mental toughness allows you to survive challenges. That presence, body language, and voice communicate strength before words are even spoken. And that living without approval frees you to act authentically. Every chapter of this journey points to the same truth: confidence is not something external. It is cultivated from within. It grows as you challenge yourself, step by step, day by day, moment by moment. No one becomes confident by waiting. No one becomes dangerous in their confidence by avoiding discomfort. It is the consistent small actions, the repeated willingness to face fear, the refusal to depend on approval. They create the person who walks into any situation with quiet certainty. This kind of confidence transforms your life. It changes how you see yourself. It changes how others see you. It opens doors that fear and hesitation once closed. The path is not easy. It requires courage, discipline, and persistence. But the rewards are immense. You gain freedom. You gain control. You gain the ability to pursue opportunities without being paralyzed by doubt or fear. Dangerous confidence is not a final destination. It is a way of living, a mindset, a set of habits, a force that grows stronger each time you act despite fear. If you take what you have learned and apply it consistently, you will no longer be held back by hesitation. You will no longer be controlled by others' opinions. You will no longer fear failure or rejection. You will move through life with strength and purpose. You will become someone who does not just survive situations, but dominates them with quiet power. This is the essence of dangerous confidence. It is not loud. It is not flashy. It is steady, resilient, unstoppable, and it is within your reach. The only choice left is yours. Will you act? Will you embrace discomfort? Will you build the life that your confidence allows? The journey begins now. Step forward, trust yourself, and become the dangerously confident person you are always capable of being. The end.
Kindly subscribe to my channel.